Hey guys, greetings and salutations. My name is James, and I've actually been wanting to do this for a while now. Just start videos, maybe explore the YouTube, Rumble, and maybe other platforms when it comes to my thoughts and things like that. I've been writing on social media for more than 10 years when it comes to like Facebook and some other platforms, but I think this is more of an official, really just doing something that's really going to, kind of open up my reach when it comes to just having these necessary discussions, I believe, when it comes to morality, justice, ethics, worldviews, things like that. Even when it comes to politics, and our different perspectives and exchanges and things like that. I was going to do like an intro video, but I figure after talking to a lot of my friends and close family members that I really respect, they kind of said, give people the opportunity just to hear what you have to say about your thoughts, and then they'll kind of understand where you are instead of doing like an intro video. So I'm going to actually jump right into my topic at hand, and that is really embracing my conservative values, but from a Christian perspective. Now, as of right now, it's actually New Year's Eve of 2021. So it's actually literally the end of the year right now. I'm actually shooting this right now. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually post this at this moment, but it might be, sometime early January of 2022. But it's been a long journey. The last, I almost want to say 6, 7 years, I've been actually trying to figure out my political perspective as a Black American, somebody who, born and raised in Los Angeles, Baldwin Hills area, things like that. I was always, always understood that the idea was to blindly agree with whatever the Democratic Party presented to us. I'll never forget one time my mother showed me a pamphlet that Maxine Waters actually provided for our community, so we can agree when it comes to whatever elections that are coming up, how we should vote. And there was some type of really brief explanation of why we should vote, but it wasn't really clear. But I realized at some point that there was some type of understanding that for a lot of us in the Black and brown community, we sort of tend to agree with a lot of ideas from the left. I'm going to say the political left and their ideologies without really, questioning certain things or looking at facts and things like that. And that was something that concerned me, maybe just a few years ago. And when Trump went into office and things like that, I really thought it was actually kind of silly to even see Donald Trump actually trying to be president of the United States. I thought it was very silly. And I remember for the first time I took interest in the presidential debates because, he was up there acting a fool to me. I just thought, man, there's no way this man's going to be president. And it was just fascinating how, as I was listening to what he had to say, it really, I started to actually resonate with his message. He really challenged Americans to not only think for themselves, but even with the Black and brown community, to try something different, to actually move in a different view, different direction. And that was something that I thought was very intriguing because I felt like all the years that I've just been an adult, the understanding was, you're a Democrat and you don't challenge that. You don't challenge it at all. And being here in California, that was always been something that we just understand that you agree with the Democratic Party, and the political right is for, that's the white people, that's the conservatives, that's the rich white people, that's for the people that are the elites, and I just thought, well, if that's the case, then I want to be away from that. And so the last few years, I've realized that as you can see from my sweater here, and I actually didn't plan this out, I'm just wearing this, but I obviously support, the police department. I think they do an amazing job with a lot of the tasks that they're handed, And of course, I'm not one of those people that would like to, give the impression that all police officers are not corrupt. I know that there are bad apples in a bunch, with every group. There are teachers I've actually worked with, and that's something I'll probably expand on in a future video, my teaching history and things like that. But I've worked with people in the teaching profession that they were just bad teachers. They were just, you could tell, they didn't actually care about what they were doing. They didn't care about it at all. They didn't care about the children. They didn't care about anything except how much they were getting paid and when is the time to get out of here, And so And it's the same thing with people working at banks and everywhere else. Gardeners, there's always people that, care about what they're doing, and there's always people that don't care about what they're doing. So I think it's just important to make a distinction. So I obviously support our police departments, and I think they do an amazing job, especially what's been happening last, I'm going to say 24 months. I'm very impressed with the patience many of these officers have, who've decided to actually stick with their responsibilities as officers. I just think it's, amazing. But as time has gone on, I have embraced more conservative values, and I'm not in a place where I demonize people who have ideologies or, worldviews or understandings that lean more left or liberal or progressive, or, I'm not one of those people where it's like, you're automatically my enemy just because I like to listen to what people have to say first before I actually make some type of judgment on where I stand, where they stand, and, things like that. But actually, one of the core things or foundational things that I really wanted to address with this video is that within the last 24 months, one of the things that I learned about the conservative, the Republican perspectives, is that there are people that have conservative Republican values, and their foundation is the Bible. Their foundation is their relationship with God. It's based on Jesus Christ, and any Bible reader, understand, John 14:6, Jesus said, "I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." So we understand that, he's the foundation. Jesus said in his high priestly prayer in John 17:17, "Sanctify them in your truth, Lord. Your word is true." So we understand that the Bible is the foundation when it comes to morality, when it comes to ethics, when it comes to all these different things. And what I've learned is that there are people that have subscribed to the, I'm going to say the Republican or conservative ideologies and principles. However, they don't have a biblical foundation. And so it's really complex for me, or confusing for me, to even see how does that work out, And there's a lot of people that I've discovered, even within the conservative movement, that, they don't seem to be really interested in loving their neighbor as themselves, as the Bible teaches. They don't really care about the truth behind biblical Christianity. They don't even care about, just God's truth and his expectations for humanity. It's almost like they don't really care about that at all. They just care about Trump. They just care about hating and demonizing anybody that disagrees with them, And again, I do consider myself a conservative. However, I don't believe in demonizing people, just because of their, political party affiliations and things like that. I think it's really sad, actually, when anybody does that. I think that it's still possible to agree to disagree and move on and still have a relationship with somebody. One of the philosophies that I live by is I really don't, I believe that that I can disagree with someone, but not be disagreeable. I'll say it again. I believe that I can disagree with someone without being disagreeable. So that's just something that I think I'm still trying to process even right now. It's been like 24 months in since I've actually embraced my conservative values. I've actually had quite a bit of people within my community not too happy about that. People that I've known online, defriend me from social media because I, decided that, this is the direction that I feel more comfortable with, that resonates with me. But what I was unaware of is that there are people that consider themselves conservatives, and they don't actually have a biblical foundation. So when it comes to demonizing people or putting people down, they don't have a problem with that because they don't have a worldview that's based on God's word, which if God is not the foundation for your worldview, then it's like, how do you properly judge anything objectively? How do you, what is your standard of how do you judge anything? So I think that is something that has become something that that's been apparent to me. So it's a concern. I will say it's a concern. But yeah, it's fascinating when I'm talking to maybe other conservatives and, I'm asking, why are they against abortion or something like that, And for them, it's not necessarily because a human being is made in the image of God, but it's because, maybe some scientific reason. And science, of course, is knowledge. It means knowledge, but, the Bible, God's word, is based on reality. It's based on what we see around us, what reflects reality. And so the foundation is that every human being is made in the image of God. And that's a human being that we have, inside of the womb, being knitted together by God, put together, being established. And this is, of course, a separate body, scientifically speaking, a separate body from the mother. This is something that I don't know why it's still an argument, but it's a scientific fact, But yeah, it's just fascinating. It's the same thing with how do we treat government, or, the murder, the death penalty, all these different questions that I have. But I didn't realize that there were people that were very patriotic and very nationalistic when it comes to their political views and their political ideologies and even their philosophies. But they seem to have more, I'm going to say more, they resonate more with Trump. They resonate more with their country and the flag, and they seem to be more faithful to those entities than they are to God. And that is something I can't subscribe to. That's something that I can't support. I do believe that the United States is the greatest country in the world. Okay, I will say that, and I will argue and defend that to the very last breath. I think that this is an amazing country. This is a great place for great opportunities for anyone, regardless of your culture, your creeds that you live by. You can make it. There's a lot of opportunities waiting here. This is why most of the world's immigrants are actually coming to this country. Like, they know something. They know that they can make it here. I know amazing people that have left their country, came here legally, and yeah, they're doing very well. They decided to put the work in, and this is why they're doing very well for themselves. But yeah, it's just frightening and disheartening when I meet people that identify as conservatives, and then they seem to be really indoctrinated by this idea that you can create some type of morality or ethics, or judge people based on the United States Constitution, when the United States Constitution's foundation was, God's word. The founding fathers understood that, and they may not have been theologians necessarily, but they all understood one truth, that there is one God, and we all inherited inalienable rights, as human beings to function, to, own property, to get married, to live our lives freely, So this is something that I think is a concern. Maybe I'll discuss this a little bit more. Hey, God bless you guys. Thank you for listening. Peace and salutations. All right. Thank you.